Guys, welcome back to another video. In this one, we're going to be looking at another foundation detail, but in this one, instead of the corner of the house, we're going to be doing um, one in the middle of the house. So let's say, for example, um, right, this foundation detail would represent, let's see, if we would, you know, if we had a cut right here, yeah, for example, if we were doing the foundation for this part of the house right here, right? So the first one we did was this, um, the end of the house. But if we were supposed to do one for the, the this load bearing wall, which should have a foundation underneath it, it should have the only difference between it really, between the two, is that this one is in the center. Okay. So when it comes to the walls at the end, notice that the wall for the external walls for the superstructure for the house is to the end, it aligns with the end, and into the foundation wall, which is 8 inches. This is 6 inches. But for here, you would notice that um, it's centered between the the foundation walls. So that's what we're going to be doing. Now I could simply just take this drawing, make a copy of it, and then just remove, um, well, just remove this and redraw it more centered in the right here, and then I would extend these lines across, all of them across like so, and just trim them out, you know. But for the sake of those who might have missed the first video, we're gonna just do it all from scratch. So I don't have to explain anything much in this drawing. So um, we, we're gonna be this is gonna be a much shorter video. All right. So firstly, again, let's start with, let's do some walls. Remember, we're gonna do um, the we're gonna do the footing first, which is 3 times the width. 600 millimeters, which is 3 times the width of the foundation wall. Right. So the foundation wall is 8-inch blocks, which is 200 millimeters roughly. So 200, 200, 200, that's 600. And it's going to be at a minimum. In this drawing, we're going to be doing 8 inches, but as you know, by St. Vincent standards, it should be no less than a specific amount. I think it's 9 inches. So this is going to be 200, which is 8 inches. Come across 600, and then we go up right there. Now, again, I'm going to draw the foundation walls that are centered. So I'm going to offset this 200 from each side. So we have 200, 200, 200, 200, 200, 200. So let's just extend these. Well, before we extend them, let's do the ground line. So the ground line, we know that the footing will be buried at a minimum of 2 feet. So let me offset 600 millimeters, which is 2 feet upwards. This is going to be my ground line. Alright, let me just bring it across like so. Actually, we don't even need the ground line, to be honest, well, on this side for nature of what we're doing, but I'm just going to use it right now as a reference. Alright, so now we need to extend these lines up, and then we can trim away these down here. We don't need them. Alright, so this is where the ground line would be here, and it would be showing that the footing is buried at least at a minimum 2 feet below the ground. Alright, so what we need to do now is offset so we could get the finished flow is. So let's offset 1.5 foot. As you learned in the last video, it's supposed to be no less than 12 inches by St. Vincent standards. So we're going to extend these lines up to there. Then we can get rid of the ground line for now. Alright, so let's just now walk our way back down. So this is going to be our finished floor. So remember what we're doing is we're putting this wall in the center of the foundation wall, and then we're going to be having everything over here. We're going to be having it on this side also. Okay, it's basically going to look like this, but with all the details inside. Alright, so let's walk our way back down. But before we do, we need to let's offset that inch. This is for the finished floor, but let's remember that the wall is not going to be built on top of the finished floor like so. The wall is going to be on the concrete slab, which is this line. Alright, so to do this, I need to just find the center. So I'm just going to redraw this line so I can know exactly where the center of this line is, like so. And then I can offset it 75 millimeters on either side. Right, so this, and then I can delete the middle line. So this should be 150 millimeters. So there we have the walls for the superstructure, the structure above ground, and we have the concrete slab right here, and this line represents the floor finish when you know like plaster the floor. Alright, so we just need to trim this out and extend these all the way up to the wall. So here we just extend these up to the wall. Alright, so now I could just merge these three lines. So I select this line, and this line, J, enter. Now they are one line, they are rejoined. Okay, so what we're going to do actually, alright, so what we're going to do, we're going to do the floor slab, so offset 4 inches, so that's about 100 millimeters. Alright, so we offset down 100 millimeters. Then underneath this, let me do say 25 millimeters offset, 25 millimeters. This is where I'm going to put in the damp proofing. Alright, some people don't put this, they would mention it, but they won't actually put it because the damp proofing is really, you know, as thin as a plastic bag. Well, plastic, so it doesn't need a whole inch, but we're just doing it for the representation's sake. So we'll put a line through the middle of that, as we did over here. Right here, this line, and then we'll do the sand blinding layer, another inch, so offset 25 millimeters, like that. So this is our in between. Here will be our sand blinding, and then underneath that will be the hard core, which will offset 6 inches, 150 millimeters. Alright, so now we could just clean up in here all these lines, clean them out, and we have them on both sides. Alright, so um, let me just fill in the rest information. So let's see if let's use the wall layer. As I said, in between here, I'm going to just draw a line all the way through, and then I'm going to turn this line into a center line, and let's make it a little thinner. So maybe 0.20, and we gotta change the line type scale. I don't know what I used in the last one. It's a little too big. It's actually really too big. So see 100. That looks good. I'm not sure what I used the last one. Let me see. The last one is not. I used 30 and center. Wonder what the line type scale was. 100. All right. So 100 is fine. Let me just trim this out. Whatever you choose, just be consistent across all your drawings. Alright, so here we have everything. Underneath here is where we'll put our, um, compacted out. So let me just put in our an angle, come down this angle all the way through, up, all the way through. We'll just trim away. Right, so as you know, this long break line simply means that, you know, we'll put one here. So and right here, and come through like that, and then we'll just trim away the excess on this side. I'm gonna copy this and put it on the other side right here. Is that too far? Okay, that's fine. And let's trim away all this. Excellent. Alright, so this just means that the line continues, the all these layers continue, but we just want to stop it right here. Okay, so let me just change that. Alright, so again, we want to just put our we'll put in the hatch, we'll put in the everything. Let's put in the hatch first this time, so that when we put in the steel, it would be a little easier. Alright, so let's use this one. So we'll use these, as I said, for the lines inside the hatch line. I'm not sure what I used in this one. Line type scale 800. Alright, so we'll change this to 800. You could choose whatever you want. This escape, and then we'll use concrete. This one. We have to change this. Still too big. 50. I'm not sure what I used in the last one. So let's see. 20. Right, that looks fine. So the concrete slab. Okay, so what's next? Let's do escape, and then we'll do another layer. Alright, so we have the sand blending on the finished floor. So we use AR sand. Let's see what we can use here. 5. Alright, this is a little too much. So let's say maybe 10. Let's see if that looks, yeah, 10 looks similar. Alright, now I could always just match properties to the one that I previously did. So that's the finished floor, and then here's where we're going to put the sand blind in. All right. Down here now we have to put our hardcore. $200. All right, so we'll use that over here. Let's see what this is. 300. So let's look for the gravel. I think I passed it somewhere. Nope. Gravel. And I believe it's 200 we used for this one. So there, and then we can, what these should be. All right. So let's draw a line to represent our this is where our compacted earth is going to go. So we'll use, I'm going to remove this line just now anyway. So I think we use 300 on the other side, compacted earth, and then we could just get rid of these lines. Alright, so it looks a little neater. So all here will be compacted up, but we're not going to, draw it all around this. It's going to look too crowded. Okay, so I mean, this is basically drawing. We just need to put the steel inside. So let me just switch back to the walls layer, which is very thick, and let's offset. I believe it's 3 inches. So that's 75 millimeters. Offset here, here, here. Then I'm going to fill it. Not sure what radius I used. This circle has a radius of 6. So the right 12 is the radius I used there. So let's fill it that with a radius. Our radius 12 is already there, yeah. Here and here, and then I didn't hit multiple here and here. Alright, so let's bring this down to about here. Let me just keep it straight. Bring it down to about there. Now I could actually just get rid of this and copy this one. Pick it up right there and carry it across there, just for the sake of consistency. We're gonna take some circles. We want one in the middle, but the radius of the circle is going to be 12. Is it 12? I believe it's, let's see if it's the same. So the radius, diameter is 12, so the radius is 6. Right. Alright, so let's do a circle. Radius is 6. Did I use the right circle tool? Right, center radius 6. And let's place them. Now this doesn't have to be 100% accurate or anything like that. The other one goes somewhere here. It's a little too high. Hold a second. Let's put that there and pull it across to the other side. like so, and then this one in the middle somewhere, like so. Alright, we'll just fill this up, a solid hatch. These are the steel, and then we'll run a line from the center all the way up. Hooks back like that. Yeah, so we have the steel there and everything. Now we could also put in, some other representation, some other details, but this should be enough. We also need the steel that's running inside of the flow slab. All right, so um, let me just offset this around 50, and on the other side I have it 46, so I think I just drew that line. Right, well, the reason why I'm not being so specific about the placement of this line is because the builder would know exactly where to put it, and we are not going to specify it in the drawing, so it's no need to try to put it a specific place and all of that. Alright, now really and truly I believe the this concrete slab really should come all the way across. So like this concrete slab, we join that, and these lines is already joined. So in here, if I this would come a little bit down. Alright, so this is already 4 inches. Let's offset this. Let's see if I come here, pull a line down. So this is what I'm doing. Line tool, I'm hovering over, I'm not clicking. Then I'm going to move my hand down a little bit, and then I'm going to type 100. That's 4 inches more. When I hit enter, it's going to allow me to draw a line 4 inches down. So instead of offsetting, that's another way you could do it. So all of this is going to be the concrete floor slab, like so. Right, we want to run this piece of steel straight across, join. So all here we're going to fill, we'll have to redo it. We'll have to redo this hatch, and even this hatch right here, I don't think I could trim it. Can I? No, I can't. Yes, I can. But if anything, I have no problem doing it over. It's not a problem. So this is the floor slab, and it's going to come all the way down in here. This is where the foundation wall will start. So let's go back to the hatch, and then we'll use the concrete. Oh, it removed the concrete, the AR count down here too. So let's go back there. I'm not sure. I already forgot what I used. 20. All right. So let's hit that. Yeah, conk 20, and we're gonna fill this all this back up. And this down here. Alright, so that's basically it. So all we need to do is just relabel and dimension everything, and we're done. So in the interest of time, I'm just going to um, copy all of these right here. Let's move this one, put it across like this here, and they should all line up in around the same place. Alright, such a hardcore. Let's copy all of these. This one. Um, Now you could use your leader and type them over and everything. If you're doing this for the first, put in all the information. So put that. So I'll need to move this like so, and right, this is there. That's correct. The ground level, the ground line. Um, so we won't need this. Right, so there's no step up to the house and all of that. There's one thing that we forgot. Let me just make a copy of this one also. Alright, so it's the internal foundation detail. This is the external wall foundation detail. We still miss this one, so let me copy this. Right, we still missed we still missed something from the last one. We did not call out the walls. Alright, so we were supposed to put in let me just dimension this first. Dimension linear. So we did not point out the wall, so I'm going to just take this, make a copy of it. Actually, let me use the mirror. Select this, the mirror line here. Do not erase the source, and let me just move this pointer to the wall. So this is going to be the 200mm foundation wall. Alright, it's 8 inches wide. We could actually say 200mm by 200mm because it's 8 inches wide and it's also 8 inches high. Alright, 8 inches thick and 8 inches high. So 200mm by 200mm foundation wall. We did not point this out in the last drawing also, so I'm just going to move that over there. I didn't even realize until after I ended the video. So let's move this in a little bit like so. So there we have it. This is not an exterior wall, this is just be your interior wall. Alright, so there you have it. We have the foundation details, one for the exterior, one for the interior. They're basically the same except this piece is different. This piece at the top here is in the middle, and instead of having it aligned at the end, it's in the center of the foundation wall. And then we just have all of the other elements, all of the other layers on both sides, except, instead of just one side as such. Yeah, so in the next one we'll be dealing with the eave details and the ridge details, and then after we've done all of those, we are going to do the full section, which is going to basically include all of this on the corners. It's going to include the eave details. It's going to have, your section is always going to be showing, you know, this end, any internal walls, load bearing walls that have foundations under them. It's going to be showing the details of the eave. This is not detailed, you're not seeing all of this stuff in it. It's just there's no wall plate and ring beam or bond beam and all of that. There's none of that being shown. But in the eave details, we'll put in all of that. We'll also do a ridge detail, not from this side, but if we cut it the other side, how the detail of the ridge would look. We're going to draw it from that side. Alright, so that's if we cut like this and we look in this direction, look in that direction. Alright, cut the ridge and we look in to the left or to the right, how it would look. That is what we're going to be drawing. So until the next one, you guys have a good day.